my first ever out-of-town political assignment at Fox News Channel was to go tour around South Carolina's military installations with Senator Lindsey Graham. He was warning about sequestration, the across-the-board budget cuts that the Obama administration was supporting. Somebody that was on that trip with us, his communications director for 27 years. Kevin, I don't know if you remember that trip, but it was, we covered a lot of ground in only 2 days.
Yes, we did, Peter. We took off from Greenville, flew down to Marine Corps Station, Parris Island, and hit all of the military installations in South Carolina. The U.S. military had no better friend than Lindsey Graham. He was that was a passion, and as you know, Peter, he served for 33 years in the United States Air Force. Lindsey was he was just a great guy, and he loved our troops. He loved this country, and we are all just heartbroken about his passing.
And I remember on that trip, somebody had a locker, and they presented Senator Graham. They surprised him with his old flight suit from when he was a JAG attorney for 6 years, and it seemed like he was really moved by that. Kevin, what do you think? Can you tell us something about Senator Lindsey Graham that nobody watching knows?
Lindsey was for a United States senator who was known around, frankly, not only within his own state, within his own country, he was known around the world. He was a very unpretentious guy. This is a guy you got to understand. He was the first in his family to go to college. He graduated from the University of South Carolina. His parents died when he was very young and left him a sister, Darlene, who he loved dearly. Lindsey Graham he was an everyman. He actually, Peter, when you look at it, he was an American success story to come from the most humble of roots, growing up in a beer hall in central South Carolina, basically a little railroad town in Pickens County, South Carolina. But he went on to it's just an amazing, it only would happen, Lindsey would be the first one to tell you, my story only happens in America, to come from central South Carolina to be someone today who is being lauded by presidents and prime ministers and kings and queens around the world. I mean, this is only an American dream. Lindsey Graham lived it.
And we spent a lot of time covering Senator Graham on Capitol Hill and around the country. He was really close with his staff.
He was incredibly close. Lindsey inspired tremendous loyalty. You know, being a U.S. senator is a tough job for a senator. It's a really tough job as well for a staffer. You get a lot of problems, but Lindsey inspired tremendous loyalty. I was with him for 27 years, and I wasn't even anywhere near close to the person who was with him the longest. We had several who were with Lindsey for more than 30 years. And the joke in the office, Peter, was if you've only been with Lindsey for 10 years, you're still sort of learning the ropes of the office. People were there for a long time because Lindsey, he was the kind of guy that not only did you believe in him, but you wanted to do well for him. He was very appreciative of everything that you were doing for him. And he was to be honest with you, Peter, one thing people don't know is Lindsey Graham had a wicked sense of humor, unbelievable sense of humor. And it was so funny, Peter, he was so smart. Lindsey was a crackerjack. You could talk local politics, you could talk national politics, you could talk international politics, or if you wanted to, you could talk celebrity news, because he also read TMZ and People magazine. So he was very well read. He knew a lot about everything. And he was I consider, honestly, one of the great privileges in my life to have gotten to work with him for so long.
And we know that over the course of his career, he was very close for a long time with Joe Biden when he was a senator and then when he was vice president. He has been very close with Donald Trump. Obviously, with Biden and Trump, they've had their disagreements over the years. But how did he cultivate these relationships with powerful Republicans and Democrats? Because that's something that a lot of people in the Senate have kind of forgotten how to do.
I think you hit on a great point. Lindsey was actually very good friends with President Bush. He actually was friends with President Obama, with Biden, with President Trump. People learned Lindsey Graham had a very keen political sense. He also understood the world. And the biggest thing is I think a lot of people in politics, it's very hard to go into the Oval Office and tell the president sometimes some things they don't like to hear. Lindsey had alligator skin. He could go in and say whatever needed to be said. And over time, I think all presidents learned to appreciate what he was telling them, that he was giving them his honest, unvarnished truth, whether you like it or not. Lindsey was he was a great guy that he could say the tough things to presidents. And I know President Bush didn't always like it. I know President Obama didn't always like it. And I'm sure President Trump didn't like it all the time. But they learned Lindsey Graham was a truth teller. And that's what his job is, what he viewed as being.
Well, Kevin, I know this is a really difficult day for you and for your family and everybody else that served with Lindsey Graham. Our condolences to you, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.